You don't delay things because you're lazy. You delay them because starting feels dangerous, not physically dangerous, but emotionally. And you've never said that out loud. You tell yourself you just need the right mood, the right energy, the perfect moment, but the moment comes. And you still don't move. So you scroll. You rearrange something small. You think about how you'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow feels safer. You know what's strange? You can imagine the finished result perfectly. You can picture how good it would feel to finally send that message. Submit that application. Start that project. Make that call. You see it so clearly in your head, but your body won't cooperate. It's like there's an invisible wall between intention and action. And every time you walk toward it, something inside you whispers, wait. You've tried to explain this to yourself. You've said, why am I like this? Why can't I just do it? Other people seem to move so easily. They don't sit there rehearsing every possible outcome. They don't imagine every awkward silence, every mistake, every ripple effect. But you do. Before you begin anything, your mind plays a full movie, not just one version, every version. If you send the message, what if they misunderstand your tone? If you apply, what if you get rejected? If you succeed, what if you can't handle what comes next? That last one, you don't admit. But it's there. It's not just fear of failure. It's fear of exposure. Starting something means being seen, even if no one is watching. It means proving what you're capable of. Or worse, proving what you're not. When you delay, you stay in possibility. And possibility is safe. In possibility, you're still talented, still capable, still could have been. Once you begin, the fantasy becomes real. And real things can disappoint you or confirm your worst suspicion, that maybe you're not as good as you hoped. So you wait. You wait for certainty. You wait for confidence. You wait for that quiet inner click that says, now you're ready, but what you're actually waiting for is protection. Because starting feels like stepping into a room where judgment might be waiting. Even if the only judge is you. You're harder on yourself than anyone else has ever been. You replay small mistakes from years ago. You remember the tone in someone's voice, the look on their face, that one comment that stuck. You act like you forgot. But your nervous system didn't. So now, before you act, your mind scans for threat. It calculates risk like it's protecting something fragile. And it is. It's protecting you from that old feeling, that sinking feeling in your chest, that heat in your face, that sharp awareness of being not enough. You don't delay because you don't care. You delay because you care too much. Every task feels loaded. Sending an email isn't just sending an email. It's an opportunity to be misinterpreted, to sound stupid, to confirm you're behind. Starting a project isn't just starting. It's opening the door to future judgment. So your brain does what it thinks is kind. It postpones the risk. Later feels lighter. Later doesn't demand courage. Later doesn't force you to confront the voice that asks, what if this proves something about me? At night, this is when it gets loud, when the house is quiet, when no one needs anything from you. Your mind replays the things you didn't do, the message you didn't send, the step you didn't take, the version of yourself you keep promising to become. You imagine conversations that haven't happened yet. You rehearse answers. You correct imaginary misunderstandings. You prepare for battles that might never exist. And it's exhausting. You're tired, not from doing too much, but from thinking too much. There's a difference. Your body might be still, but your mind has run marathons. You tell yourself tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow you'll wake up early, tomorrow you'll finally start. And for a few seconds, that belief feels real. It soothes you. But underneath that promise is the same hidden fear. If you start, there's no more hiding behind potential. Potential is comforting. It says, I could. Reality says, show me. And show me feels like pressure. You've always felt that pressure, even when no one else applied it. You learned early that being capable meant being careful. That being smart meant not making obvious mistakes. That being good meant not disappointing anyone. So now you move through life like you're carrying fragile glass. Every decision feels delicate. Every step feels like it could crack something. You watch other people take messy action. You almost envy them. How do they just try? How do they tolerate uncertainty? How do they survive not knowing? But you know the answer. They don't attach their entire identity to every move. You do. If you fail, it's not this didn't work, it's what does this say about me? If someone doesn't respond, it's not they're busy, it's did I say something wrong? If you succeed, it's not relief. It's can I maintain this? There's no neutral ground. Everything feels personal. So delaying becomes a shield, a quiet one, invisible to others, but powerful. As long as you haven't started, no one can judge the result. As long as you haven't tried, you haven't failed. As long as it's still in your head, it's perfect. Untouched, unruined, safe. But there's a cost. You feel it in the background. A low hum of guilt, a subtle self-disappointment. You tell yourself you're wasting time. You compare yourself to people who seem ahead. You wonder what's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You adapted. You learned that avoiding emotional pain was smart. You became skilled at predicting outcomes, at scanning tone, at imagining worst-case scenarios before they happen. That skill probably protected you once, but now it's protecting you from growth. And growth always feels like risk, even when it's good. You don't just fear failure. You fear the moment right before feedback, that suspended second, that breath you hold, that vulnerable exposure. You fear the confirmation of your private doubts, the ones you don't let anyone see, the ones that whisper at 2 a.m. You're behind. You're not ready. You'll mess this up, so you wait. And waiting feels like control. But it's actually fear wearing a calm face. You're not weak. You're cautious. You're sensitive. You feel things deeply. You imagine consequences vividly. Your brain isn't broken. It's protective, maybe too protective. Maybe it thinks you're still that younger version of yourself, the one who felt embarrassed or dismissed or not chosen. So it says, let's not risk that again. But here's the quiet truth. You're not delaying tasks. You're delaying the possibility of emotional pain. And pain is part of being alive, not constant, not overwhelming, just present. Starting something doesn't guarantee humiliation. It doesn't guarantee exposure. It guarantees movement. And movement feels unfamiliar when you've lived in your head for so long. There's nothing dramatic about this realization. No big breakthrough, just a soft awareness the next time you sit there. Staring at something you know you should begin, notice the feeling, the tightness, the hesitation, the whisper of what if? It's not laziness, it's fear of being seen, fear of being evaluated, fear of discovering something about yourself you're not ready to face. And maybe, just maybe, you don't have to eliminate that fear tonight. You don't have to transform into someone fearless. You can just sit with the truth of it. You've been protecting yourself in the only way you knew how. And that makes sense. You've been trying to stay safe, even from invisible threats. But you're not as fragile as your mind thinks. You've survived awkward moments. You've survived rejection. You've survived disappointment. You're still here, breathing, listening, thinking. Maybe the hidden fear isn't proof that you're incapable. Maybe it's proof that you care, that your inner world is intense, that you don't take things lightly. And that's not something to hate. It's something to understand. You don't need a dramatic change tonight. No sudden burst of productivity. Just this quiet recognition. You delay because starting feels like stepping into judgment. And you've been trying to avoid that sting. That's human. It's tender. It's honest. And right now, in this quiet moment, you're not behind. You're not failing. You're just someone who learned to protect themselves a little too well. And maybe, slowly, gently, you can let yourself move, not because you're finally fearless, but because you're tired of hiding from a world that isn't as cruel as your mind predicts. That realization doesn't shout, it whispers. And maybe tonight, that whisper is enough.